Chapter 4, Yemen. I apologize in advance. Some of these words I cannot say. Sheikh Muhammad Ahmed Mansour. He was the leader of Sinan, the capital of Yemen. He was a tyrant, a man of infinite cunning. He was also a renowned poet. There was no law for the peasant people, but everything belonged to Sheikh. His father ruled before him and was equally as cruel, and his soldiers were merciless. Ali Abdul Salih. He was Yemen's ruler. Yemen was the poorest country during his ruling. Half of his population lived off of $2 a day or less, and he managed to rake off tens of billions of dollars in public funds for himself and his family. This made him the richest than Egypt's later-day pharaoh. He loved power over money, and his greatest talent was for corrupting other people, and he made sure that every potential opponent had dirty money or blood on their hands for his power. Prisoners of Sheikh. The peasants were standing in front of a tall iron gate in downtown Sana'a, and the young looked starved. The older had cowed faces and rotten teeth, and they were all dressed in rags and were very fearful on their faces. Sheikh takes their land, kidnaps their children, and if they tried to fight back, he would send them to his dungeons. Sheikh's victims were tortured, and others never came back home. Some seem to not even understand that they even lived in the Republic of Yemen. A discussion question is, do you think you would be able to survive under those conditions? Also, would you be afraid to fight back, or would you step up and fight? Yemen's uprisings. The people helped instigate the 2011 revolt. They were the first to set up the protest camp at the intersection outside the gates of Sinan's University. Many people joined despite the heat, the filth, and the police brutality. Their camp quickly expanded to Change Square. 2011 Arab Spring protests undermined Salih's rule, leads to splits in the army, and allows Al-Qaeda in the Arab Peninsula to seize territory in the east. Towards the end of the uprising in 2012, Salih steps down in a political transition plan backed up by the Gulf state. Hadi becomes interim president for overseas and national dialogue to draft a more inclusive federal constitution. Salih's response to the uprising in April 2011, he had accepted a plan that would remove himself from power and begin to transition a new government. In this new plan included immunity for himself and his family. However, in May, he refused to sign the agreement, which in turn caused heavy fighting in Sinan between the opposition and those who were loyal to Salih's, killing dozens. Salih was a very selfish family man. He would do anything for himself and didn't care what happened to other people. He said he was going to sign the plan to get the people excited, and then ended up not signing it just so that there was more violence. In the end of the uprising, on June 3rd, 2011, Salih suffered burns and injuries from a bomb that went off in the presidential palace in Sinan. This left Hadi as acting president. The opposition took this opportunity to negotiate a transition agreement that would formally remove Salih from power. However, this opportunity appeared to stall. Shortly after, in September, gunfire once again ensured the Sana'a between the loyal forces in Salih and the opposition. In November, after several days of negotiation, Salih signed an agreement giving power to the Vice President Hadi. Hadi was officially sworn in February and served a 2-year term as president. During this time, he wrote a new constitution, and a discussion question is, do you think the people of Yemen got Salih out of power the correct way? What would you have done differently?